Beyond ogres, orcs, and goblins, there are a number of other races belonging to what is known as the goblin-ken. Primarily, these subspecies inhabit areas and climates of Tamriel that are inhospitable to their more standard cousins. Most well known of these are the Reeklings, blue-skinned goblins marginally more intelligent than their mainland kin on account of not being green. Throughout the Second Era, large orc-sized Reeklings could be found throughout Skyrim's east march, but their mindless aggression caused them to be driven from the mainland. As a result, in modern day, only the pint-sized gremlins of Solstheim remain. However, this does not mean they should be underestimated. Despite being little more than animals, and infinitely less intelligent than even the most special of Imperial children, Reeklings possess a form of low cunning, befitting their stature. They are aggressive, wandering the island of Solstheim in packs that can pose quite a danger to those that underestimate them. Apart from this, they seemingly have little culture of their own. They scavenge what few relics they can find from other races, and form strange attachments and call them treasures. Reeklings are known to use spears, lances, blades, shields and axes in combat. They often use tusked bristlepacks, a native type of boar, for use as war mounts in place of horses. They also have the ability to create simple traps in order to guard their lairs. Reeklings can be found wandering the wilds of Solstheim in their lairs or waiting ambush for an unlucky traveller. Like all goblins, they have a tribal society, often led by a chief or a shaman. Members of the tribe are known as tribe king. They can construct basic structures such as tents, fences, bridges and lookout towers. They partake in ritualistic godspeak ceremonies. One such ceremony involves the use of scathecraw or red grass, a plant native to Vardenfell, which spread to southern Solstheim after the Red Year. Reeklings are fond of dizzy drink, alcoholic beverages that they can scavenge from the local town. The origins of Reeklings are a mystery to the people of Tamriel. The local lords believe them to be descendants of the Snow Elves, related to the other elven races, but this claim is not supported by true scholars. We learned Imperial scholars consider them to be nothing more than ice goblins. The Reeklings of Solstheim consider it to be the entire world within Great Water, meaning that if any exist in other places, the Solstheim Reekling are not aware of them. They commonly dwell in ice caves or remote locations. They are known to inhabit Dwemer and Nordic ruins as well. The Reeklings have some notable history, such as in the mainland in the Second Era 582, the ice-bited tribe of Reeklings attacking the town of Cragwallow in Eastmarch, being wiped out in retaliation. Later in the same year, the Cold-Snap tribe inhabited the Dwemer Vault of Muvak, making the retrieval of the legendary Rothstone problematic. They used some dwarven gear as a result of their discovery of an abandoned site, even using it to armour a troll, with some believing that their hoarding of scraps would result in them achieving some kind of advanced civilization. However, they were slaughtered by members of the Rothstone expedition. In Solstheim, the Skaal are attacked by them frequently. Karstag the Frost Giant once employed Reeklings to guard his fortress, Castle Karstag. When he was taken by werewolves to participate in Hircine's hunt in 427 Third Era, a Reekling named Dolk took control of the castle in his master's absence. Dolk attempted to enlist the help of several Graalls, but the creatures turned on the Reeklings and killed many of them. Graalls were killed by the Neverine and a Reekling named Krish. Not to be confused with the Reeklings, Rykara are a race of goblins possessing white skin, the most advanced and intelligent of their entire species on account of this. They are magically gifted and capable of speaking Tamrielic. Some have even been well trained enough to be considered domesticated, acting as servants, able to do basic tasks such as setting the Imperial Master's table. However, do not let them fool you. The Rykara are still goblins. They live in tribes and have been observed to eat boar meat, vomit it back into bowls, then trade the bowls with fellow tribesmen and eat each other's vomit as a form of social bonding. Apparently, it stinks of onions. They are also observed to bathe in filth and sometimes eat their own young, with some suggesting that these behaviours maintain their social structure. The Rika have a unique initiation system for those who show magical capabilities, where they are exiled and have to buy their own way back. The mage must then wait a certain period before they're allowed to buy their way back into the tribe with a food offering such as onions, or freshly slain deer, bear, or akatir. Once the mage buys their way back into the tribe, they quickly rise in status to become a revered member, gaining influence with the chief. Rika chiefs own objects that indicate their position of power in the tribe, much like their goblin cousins. The Rika, known as King Chief Edu, stole and used an ancient scepter created by the Orgak Orc clan as a symbol of his power, and another Rika chief, who was notably a spellcaster, had a totem as his, much like a shaman. Finally, there are the Wood Orcs. These are a sect of Orzammar that, rather than being driven north into Hrothgar by the arrival of the Regada, travelled south into Valenwood, and became much like their paler cousins. Like traditional flavours of Orc, they value strength and so-called honour, but like the Bosmer, promote agility and mobility in the dense trees of Valenwood, rather than the pure brute strength. However, unlike them, they do not adhere to the Green Pact, thereby allowing them to exploit the environment, constructing fortresses and weapons from wood. This does not necessarily bring conflict, though it often does, but rather trade. The Bosmer, despite being unable to gather these materials, still need them for fires and war, and to rely on the Wood Orcs for trade. Like parasites on the back of the majestic blue whale that is the Empire, the Wood Orcs and Wood Elves enjoy a symbiotic relationship. Following the Elysian slave rebellion in First Era 243, the Aelids were forced out of Cyrodiil, and some of the surviving tribes moved south into Valenwood, displacing some of the Wood Orcs. The most infamous example is the taking of Abermarth, which is still remembered today in Wood Orcish culture. The Orcs painted themselves in the blood of Morlock, who they revere in place of Malakath, though in reality it is the same god, and relied on their shaman's ritual magic to protect them from the invaders. However, they stood no real chance in the face of a truly advanced civilization. It was all in vain, and those that survived were either driven out by the existing cave system, or turned into slaves. The event since has been recited by modern-day Wood Orcs and used as a rallying cry. Throughout history, the Wood Orcs have encountered and even negotiated with the other races of Tamriel, primarily the Imperials of the Second Empire, expanded their domain into Valenwood in First Era 2714. The territorial tribes were known to raid various Imperial garrisons such as Reeman's Bluff, which resulted in their downfalls. However, these victories over the Empire led to many new settlements built from their remains. The ruins of Reeman's Bluff later became the home of the Barkbite clan of Wood Orcs, who were not related to the clan hunters that led to the fort's destruction. Most notably, the remains of the garrison later built a fort town on the long coast that became the major city-state of Valenwood's South Point. At times, the Imperials have attempted to work with the Wood Orcs generously, most infamously in the incident of Gold Folly, a failed mining town that became an Orcish outpost, and finally, in the modern day, a ruined ghost town.